Healing Path. I'm Laura Donnelly, founder of the Healing Path Conversation Series and Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance. People hire me to teach them to move out of pain. And these conversations are conversations with friends and colleagues about all the different ways that healing happens in the world. One of the underlying foundations for these conversations is the idea that healing starts within and radiates out into the world from there. Today, my guest is Sarah Santacroce, who has created Humane Marketing. And I'm really excited to talk to her today, and I'll bring her on to the video. Hang on one second. Hi,
Here
Sarah.
I am. Hi, Laura.
Isn't
Good
it
to see you.
wonderful that we can connect clear across the globe?
Yes, it is. Yes. As you know, I'm based in Switzerland. So we have quite a few countries between us and a few hours. But here we are talking together.
Yes, it's wonderful. So, would you like to share a little bit about your journey and who you are and how you came to put these two words together? I was on a friend's post this morning in LinkedIn, and they were talking about beliefs and truths. And one of the
Mm,
things I said is that some people would say humane and marketing don't go together, that
mm,
even that they cancel each other out.
mhm,
And my idea is that what if we have curiosity? What if we
mhm.
just ask, how can marketing be more humane? And see
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, thanks for starting that conversation because I think that's exactly what we need to be having more of. It's those kinds of conversations. What if? Like the question I always ask my people is like, what if you gave yourself permission to do marketing your way? Because I attract people like you who want to do things differently and want to be humane in business and gentle and kind and do marketing with empathy. And yet, I guess the way we're conditioned and the way marketing otherwise works and the way what we see out there definitely does not feel humane. But we just need to give ourselves that permission and say, well, what if? What if I do it like my intuition guides me to do it, right? And that is actually the right way. And I get confirmation from Sarah and Laura that that way works as well. So yeah, I've been asking myself that and those kind of questions for about 5 years now. I grew up in this online marketing world. Started my first online business in 2006, and yeah, kind of grew up with these online marketing gurus and following all the trainings and following all the gurus, and then eventually, so over the years, I built a LinkedIn consulting business, and over the years, every year a bit more, I felt so frustrated with this online marketing space and the way we were taught to do marketing, all the recipes for success, all the kind of pain points we need to bring out, and the six-figure success businesses and all that stuff. I just got so tired of and frustrated with that I really kind of had a breakdown a few years ago, and then thought, well, I think I'm just not made for business. I'm gonna have to, leave this behind. And maybe some of your people watching or listening, they're kind of like at the same spot. It just feels all so heavy. And and so I was at the sitting on this therapist's chair and telling her that, and then actually realizing myself, well, what if there is another way? What if I'm here to show that there's another way? What if I'm here to come up with a different way? And so the first term that came to me was gentle marketing, or actually the term gentle business revolution. That's what came up for me. That's what I thought we needed. We needed a revolution, but we needed a gentle one that feels good for healers like us who want to do things in a good way, want to help and have services and skills that actually are there to help. So yeah, that was the first term, gentle marketing, gentle business revolution, and then funny enough, how these things go, I kind of had a trademark issue with another gentle marketer who, who didn't see the way, or didn't see business the way I see it, which means like, we're here to share, we're here to collaborate. And I'm saying she didn't see the way, but over the looking back now, I actually don't think she was the problem. The system is the problem. We're in a system, in a capitalistic system that does business that way. It's like, oh no, I need to own this little piece and I need to block everybody out and they're going to steal my clients and competition, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, that's okay. I don't want to invest energy in something negative. That's just, I don't look at business being, interesting that way. And so I went off and looked for another term, and it wasn't that easy, Laura. Like, a lot of, once I realized how this trademark stuff works, I'm like, wow, everything is already taken. So um you know how these things go, there's a silver lining, and a lot of people did tell me, oh, there's going to be a silver lining in this, Sarah, you'll see. It was hard in the moment, having to let go of 2 years of kind of growing this idea of gentle marketing. But in the end, yeah, there really was a silver lining, because I feel really so happy now with this term humane marketing, and it's so much more than gentle marketing, right? It involves so much more. It's, yes, it's still about being gentle and kind and empathic, but it's also including how we not just treat each other, but to me, really what matters more and more as well is how we treat the planet. How maybe marketing is not just always a tool to sell more, but only to sell if there is really a need, and not just, oh, let's find ways to make more money, but let's find ways to serve. And if there's a good fit, then yes, we want to have a conversation. But that's to me what humane marketing is. And I could keep talking, but I'm going to stop here to let you chime in.
Well, one of the things you said was something I realized over probably about a year and a half or 2 years ago. Well, because when you do something, you take a workshop or something, people say, "What are your goals? What are your financial goals?" And I'm like, enough. My financial goals are enough. I want enough. I don't want six figures. I don't want a huge team. I don't want to have to manage people and grow and scale.
Yeah.
I The work I do happens human to human, actually. In exchange, whether it's online or in person, it happens from the exchange. And if I'm a seven-figure business and I have coaches, those people are having then I have to teach those people, and then I have to trust them to do what I do, which might be okay, but that's not where my heart is.
Hmm.
And so that was the first major step, and then I stepped back from a whole lot of things, because as soon as somebody says, "Have your first $10,000 month," and I'm like, "Ah, not if I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10."
It depends what it takes, right? It depends what it takes. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and what I'm teaching people is right effort. What is the
Mm.
right effort for you to do this
Yeah.
action?
Yes.
And if you have to get yourself to do the process, like you said, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't come from the center of my communication. It is a put on. It's like wearing somebody else's shoes. It's exactly like wearing
Mhm.
somebody else's shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really where we need to start to have this conversation about your definition of success. I think that's always the beginning of the journey to be a humane marketer, is look at what you want, what your values are, what your, yeah, your worldview is as well. And that includes your definition of success. And if your definition of success is to have enough, then obviously that's going to change things in your marketing, right? You're going to market from a place of abundance, compared to a place of scarcity because you always need more than enough because you don't know what your enough is as well. So yeah, huge difference of energy when you come from a place of enough.
And also, it's something else you said about that how it took you time to come to the
Mhm.
right words and time to refine what you were doing. This took me time to come to this. First you just start and you're like, okay, well, what do I do? But then also the idea that communication and building a relationship takes time.
Yeah.
And if you want to work with people on on changing what they do, that they have to have time to get to know you and trust you to to help them discover the ways they make change. And that's really individual. And so you can say to me, well, you need to email your list. But some other people say, well, you have to email your list once a week, twice a week, once a month, 3 times a week, and I have to figure out who my people are and how many times they want to hear from me.
Of course.
Following a formula, I'm never good at formulas anyway.
Yeah, no, and that's this permission piece, right? To really trust and say, "I'm gonna figure out my own formula." Uh, and yet that's not what we see in marketing courses. And frankly, Laura, a lot of times when I speak on podcasts or teach somewhere, yes, people want a formula
Oh,
because it's kind of soothing to have a formula, right? They're like, "Give me the 3 steps." And it's hard for me to say, "You know what? Actually, there is no 3 steps that are gonna work for everybody. I wish I could give you the 3 steps, but it takes a bit more work than that." And like you said, it takes some more time to figure out which steps, are gonna work for you. And that also means, figuring out, yeah, first with starting where you who you are. So for example, if we talk about marketing, well, we want to know, do you prefer writing emails? Do you like writing emails? Or maybe you prefer being on podcasts or videos like we're both doing, or maybe you just want to go on TikTok. Whatever it is, you need to first figure out what you enjoy, because someone just giving you a formula and telling you you have to be in Facebook groups every day, 2 hours. If you're going to do that and you hate it, well, guess what? It's not going to work for you. So formulas are so, I say they're so 2019, maybe they worked for people before the change we went through, but now it's really time to, I feel, also to grow up. And I'm kind of giving my people also some tough love and say, look, I'm not going to be your guru. You're going to have to also figure out what works. And that's what we do in the Humane Marketing Circle. It's like, well, we share what works for each of us so that we then learn from others what works for them, and then go, if that works for this person and I'm kind of similar, maybe I'll try that. Because in the end, marketing is an experiment. It's not like, the gurus. Yeah, it took them a few years to get to where they are now, and maybe now they have figured it out. But if you're starting out, well, it takes experimentation and saying, okay, what if I do this? But always experiment with things that make you feel good, like, and that you feel good sharing these things with your clients and potential clients.
well, and the thing is, if I don't feel okay, if I don't feel good in the moment, right? Like, so I was very nervous to interview you, and I was like talking a little too fast, and then see your eyes just went like this. It, that we transmit that first and more powerfully than whatever scripted words we wrote out.
Yeah.
And so the person to person connection is the key, and I love the idea of sharing what works, because that's
Mm.
starting from a positive place. And then that encourages people to think, oh, that worked for them. I wonder if, well, one time I did this cool thing. Somebody said, 30 day. It was in the middle of COVID, and everybody was doing these 30-day things. Let's do 30 days. And so there were 4 or 5 of us, and we all made a 30-day thing.
Mhm.
And it was a great thing for me to do. It was.
Right.
I had photos that I wanted to use, and I just put something together, and I'm still using it.
Mhm.
And it was easy and fun and light, and it brings to other people easy, fun, and light. And so,
Yeah,
how amazing was that?
exactly.
And so the yes, there is a kind of person and who wants a formula. And the reason I did the healing path is I put this big wheel up, and I said there isn't one path to healing.
Mhm.
The goal of healing is this vibrant center, happy, joyful, understanding, not happy all the time, but at ease with yourself, and
Content. Yeah.
yeah, and able to deal with what happens.
Mhm.
But there's every spoke on the hub will get you to there if it's
Mm.
your spoke, if it's the thing that resonates with you.
Yeah.
And to trust, to trust. Well, like I don't even know how I found you. Sometimes I like to try and remember how I found somebody.
Yeah. I don't know either. I don't think we talked about it.
No, and I took one of your first workshops, which you have another workshop coming up soon, right tomorrow.
It's tomorrow,
And
right?
um, it was such a good energy
Mhm.
and such an affirmation that I could figure out the right way to talk to the people who want and need the work that I'm doing.
Right.
And those people really aren't going to listen to the formula stuff because they aren't formula people
Yeah. Yeah,
in the first
no.
place. So for a lot, so now sometimes I laugh at myself. I say, "Oh, there, I was missing all the people because I was following the formula, and my people don't follow the formula."
Exactly, exactly. You're resonating with the wrong audience, and then the minute you have, 10 of these wrong people, well, guess what? They're gonna tell their friends, and then all of a sudden, that's what happened to me. I woke up and found my inbox full of people asking me to, send 1,000 LinkedIn connections for them and then spam them with their pitch and how can you get me more leads? And I'm like, what happened? How did I get in this crowd of people who want to do marketing the complete wrong way? And yeah, it's such an easy, slippery slope, right? The minute you do one little thing that's kind of not aligned with your values, then all of a sudden you find yourself on the wrong track. And so now that I'm coming from this place of who I really am and bringing more of me, I talk a lot about bringing more of you to your marketing, showing up as the whole human in your marketing. Well, all of a sudden I talk to only amazing people like you and others who are like, yeah, we're in business, but we're just going to show up as who we are, and we're not going to put on this mask and talk about in the marketing like we're human book how I felt like talk talking masks. I had a mask on, they had a mask on, and so we're just like this huge costume party of masks who talk to each other, and then you get off the calls and you're like exhausted of being someone else. um, and a lot of people are in business like that. They're like, you know kind of like a different version of them. Obviously, we're all going to kind of make an effort if we're having a bad day, and we're still going to make an effort, but we're still ourselves. Like for me, the biggest thing that I learned in these last years is owning my hippie upbringing, and I call myself on LinkedIn. I call myself a hippie turned business coach. And really, this idea of coming full circle with who you are and bringing that into your marketing is so important because that's where the trust happens. If people feel like they're reading just another version of an email that they've already seen somewhere else, and they feel like they're talking to a mask, there's no way they can trust you, right? There's just no connection there. They're just like an empty shell. And so really going deep into who you are and figuring that out. And then obviously, yeah, we want to find some kind of connection, even though for me, hippie turned business coach, I made up my own connection, but it's important to my story because those are the values that I grew up with, this idea of community and let's collaborate, let's not, compete. We're all one big family and let's learn from each other. That's part of me. That's who I am. So yeah, I think it's such a big shift when we look at marketing as something that starts from within, where mainstream marketing tells you you have to look at your client, you look at your avatar, and then go chase after this client, right? And so that's where this mismatch happens, where you're constantly chasing something out there. You get into this scarcity energy because you always need more of these clients. And then when you find them, you're like, don't even want to talk to them because they're just completely, different people. It's not aligned what they want from you. So the 7 P's of humane marketing. So the kind of the concept that I didn't come up with it. 7 P's of marketing is something that had existed before, but I kind of reshaped it into the form of a mandala because a mandala is a creative process that brings you to your center. So once you, ooh, this is hard. How do I do this without? Okay, here, the center, and then the 7 P's. Once you work through these 7 P's, you'll be able to market from within. And the first three are really kind of like starting with yourself. Sorry, the first two are starting with yourself. So the first one is passion. So really figuring out your why and what you're passionate about. And the second one is personal power. So who are you? How are you wired? What's your values? And doing that before you go into people and find out who they are. Because really, if you want to have a business that's sustainable, you need to make sure that your clients and you resonate so that you actually have fun. And why else would we do it? So yeah, that's the story of coming full circle and why it matters so much.
Yeah, it does. And then it's not like, putting on shoes that don't fit your feet and trying to walk in them. Even just that image, my whole body just tenses up.
Yeah, yeah.
And the and then when you find something that really fits you, it's not like work.
No.
You know, it was, in the beginning, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do it, and it was really not fun. Really not fun.
Yeah.
Then a couple of years ago, I decided I wasn't going to do anything that wasn't fun, and somebody said, "Well, do you have a hobby or do you have a business?" And I
Ooh,
said,
I hate that line.
I know.
Yeah.
And I said, "I have a business, but in order for my business to support me, it has to be joyful. I mean,
Right.
how can I teach joy and basic calmness and at ease to people if I'm pushing myself all the time to do things that don't fit?" Okay, so then
Mm.
what else do people say? Oh, well, if you don't push yourself, you don't grow and change. I said, it's not that you don't grow and change. It's that if you push too hard, you break down muscle. You
Mhm.
don't build muscle. There's a little
Mhm.
edge to this with the body. And so one of the things I did is I gave my permission to try new things and not beat myself up when I didn't do great at them.
Yeah.
But then I started, okay, what if marketing is education? What if I'm sharing information with people, n- not telling them something that they need so they have to buy it, not telling them that they are deficient because they don't have this, so they have to buy it. But just that this happened, and this is what I did, and this is what I learned. And if that piece of learning resonates, give me a call.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah. I call that the gentle sales path. So, how most marketers, they talk about the funnel, and if you just picture this word funnel again, it's such a kind of a horrible marketing term because we're basically, and it's very inhumane because what we're doing is we're stuffing humans down a funnel, right? And usually that's what happens in slaughteries. Like they put the animals through a funnel, and so instead of looking at sales as a funnel, I thought, well, what if we present it as a gentle sales path, and just kind of like what you just shared. It's like I give them, I give them education, I give them options, I call them the signposts on that gentle sales path. It's like you can sit down under a bench, on a bench under a tree, and listen to one of my podcasts, or read an article I wrote, or an ebook, or whatever. All these things that we create, yes, they're marketing tools, but really what they are is education, to then make the person decide, do you want to go another step? Do you want to go further down this gentle sales path? And eventually, yes, at the end, there's my serene garden that I can invite you to if you want to have a gentle sales conversation. But there's, so many options. There's also exits. I'm not going to lock you into this funnel that you can only go through the sales department. No, you can go wherever, you choose your own path, and you can also exit if you don't feel like it's a good fit. So I think it's a
Or
much, yeah, gentler approach to things.
or maybe they get one piece from you and they need something else.
Yeah.
And because we're working together, I have people that I can say, this I did this with so and so.
Yeah,
Maybe this would be the next good step for you.
exactly.
They
Yeah.
can Then I can refer them, and I can know that I referred to them to somebody I trust, whose work
Mhm.
I value. So I feel, um, it's like when you teach, and the kid graduates to the next level, and you don't like any of the teachers in the next level. You're like, this little person was learning so much, and then if they go here and the teacher is smacking them with that ruler on their fingers, it's going to ruin everything that we
Mhm.
built. But if you have a good teacher you can refer them to, then you're like, okay, they're they're on the next step of their journey, and then they
Yeah.
might come back to you later. You
Of
know,
course. Yeah, and then that's the P of partnership, It's like we gotta just sorry. We gotta just, work together more here.
I know it's backwards. It's really funny.
It's backwards. So I'm like, where am I pointing? So we gotta just work together more, I think, as well. You're so right. We're not doing that often enough. And it comes from this idea of I gotta keep my people to myself, right? We gotta just let go of that and say, how can we collaborate and share more? And we don't have all the answers for, people. There's other people who will fill in this piece and that piece and this piece, and they will still come back to us for that piece that we are experienced at if they need it. So
Right,
yeah, I totally
right,
agree.
and then just saying, okay, that's a good model for me.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm like, oh, well, every person I talk to is, how can I help you? Oh, you need somebody who does, um, who can fix your website for you. I know a great person who is really kind and will listen to you, because like a lot of times people want to just like do your website for you. And that's
Yeah. Yeah.
then so this is all very fun. So do you want to tell people a little bit about what you're doing next week and tomorrow? Doing tomorrow, because it's the workshop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the workshop tomorrow, the one that you attended, is called "Grow Your Business Without Social Media." So that's I sent out the mini series a few months ago to my list, and it really resonated with a lot of people. And so I thought, okay, let me put together a workshop on that. And so tomorrow is the encore, and I'm hosting it with another actually a specialist in this topic. Grow your business without social media. To me, it's kind of just like, what if, it's again one of these what if questions. What if we could just skip social media altogether? And so yeah, the last workshop that you were on, it was the reason I liked it very much is because it we all came together. Yes, I did share some ideas, but then everybody else shared their ideas as well, and we just kind of imagined this time where we don't need to spend hours and hours on content creation and video creating and all of this, to just somehow sometimes I feel like we're creating this huge fluff around our businesses. And for me, the new business paradigm, this post pandemic business paradigm is very essentialist, actually, because we need to spend much more time on other things that we love, on life. We need to create a life, not just a living, not just a job. And so social media sometimes feels to me that we're just creating so much fluff around what it really needs to be just very straightforward. So yeah, very much looking forward to another um, another workshop tomorrow together with Guy, who's the co-host.
I signed up to come again because
Yay!
I like the people that you gather.
Mm,
And so then this is a community that is, very welcoming, very kind-hearted,
mhm.
which is different than like going to something and you have your 2-minute elevator speech that you do breakout rooms and everybody gives their elevator speech.
Right. Yeah.
And how is that supposed to help me? You
Yeah.
know? So, so that wasn't the energy at all at the last workshop, and so I know it won't be the energy at this workshop.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is this is your website running by the bottom, and people can
Mhm.
find all kinds of really good stuff on your website. And I'll put the link. We'll talk afterwards, and I'll get the link for the workshop, and so I can add that to the comments, and people can sign up for the
Yeah,
workshop.
it's in the main menu bar. It's called free webinar all the way at the on the right. So if people go there and find
At
that,
the
they'll
website,
be able
perfect,
to sign up. Yep.
perfect. And do you have anything on your list that's coming up for you that is really exciting? Kind of a what you were talking about before is I'm like when you were talking about content, make this kind of content, make that kind of content. It's for me, it's like if I make something because I am inspired to make something, it has a whole different energy than if I make something again to a conscripted formula.
Yeah.
And so do you have something that's like in the works for you that you can share and
Yeah, I have quite a few things in the works. So what I'm working on, two things I'm going to share. Um, so the first thing is is right now tonight I'm testing out a new workshop called LinkedIn Like We're Human.
oh
Because
cool.
I have all this experience on, being a LinkedIn consultant and trainer, and yet I almost have kind of this LinkedIn shame because I feel like I'm kind of moved on to some other things. Yes, I still do LinkedIn with some clients, but I'm not out there checking the algorithm and all of that stuff all the time. I felt like kind of a has been, but then my people actually said, "But no, you're exactly the person we want to learn from." And so I'm kind of working on this workshop called LinkedIn Like We're Human. So coming from the heart and not from the ego, which, if you only look at the algorithm and the views and the number of comments and all of that, we can quickly go into this place of the ego and kind of feel this LinkedIn shame where it's like, oh, I'm not good enough, and my posts don't get enough comments and likes and all of that. So yeah, feeling excited to share a bit about my approach to LinkedIn Like We're Human, again together with a co-host. So that's coming up in September. And then the other thing, which I was reminded of because you were talking about joy and do things that inspire us. I My son Simon, who kind of created the 7 P's of marketing mandala. So he's really into design, and he also created a 40 different mandala designs. And so I had the idea of kind of mixing the mandalas with some marketing questions. And then I'm putting this together into an adult coloring book that I'm going to put on Amazon, and just feel like, mixing this right brain, the creative brain, with the left brain, doing some journaling on some beautiful marketing questions, and then going over to the other page and coloring in a mandala. I think that will definitely resonate with my people. And I feel like, it kind of releases some of these strict ideas we have around marketing. And I'm hoping that it will help a lot of people to just kind of think, what if, what if I combined marketing and mandalas?
It sounds great. Sounds like a lot of fun. So thank
Mhm.
you so much for coming on and sharing your ideas and your joy. I mean, because this is all about, well, for me, how do we have fun doing this?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what if marketing was fun, not a chore? And that like opens up a new possibility, and it opens the door to different things to grow. It's like taking a package of wildflower seeds and
Yeah.
sprinkling them, and until they bloom, or if you can recognize leaves, until the leaves start to come out, you don't know exactly what you have, but
Yeah.
you know something is growing, and that trust in yourself that something is growing, and that it's growing from a place of joy and abundance. It's really fun.
Yeah. And I think just, hearing from people like us to keep repeating saying, yes, it takes time to build a business because out there, all we hear is like how I, built a business, a six-figure business in 3 months, or how I made $1 million in 14 weeks. And, question is that even true, what they're saying? And it's definitely not the norm. So I think it's just important to hear that message that slow and steady, you'll get
Well,
there.
and how were you?
Yeah.
Even younger, how were you in
Yeah.
yourself, in your body? Did you eat well? Did you have time to talk to the people who are important in your life?
Right. Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
for me, that's all part of having a fun, happy, healthy, life-sustaining business.
That's right. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing and for just being you and being there and creating the space for things to happen a different way.
Thanks,
Um,
Laura.
as she said, you can find about the workshop on her website on the top menu bar. I forgot whether you said right or left, but
Yeah, right.
go there, free webinar. Find
Yeah.
free webinar. And, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.